Cornerstone Family Ministries welcomes you to The Conversation, a monthly dialogue giving perspective on local faith-based nonprofit work.
Hey, welcome to The Conversation. I'm Andy Benton. I'm the Executive Director at Cornerstone Family Ministries. And today we are with Elizabeth Proctor, who is with Kate & Proctor. It's a local fundraising firm here in town. And we're going to be talking today about fundraising and kind of the climate currently in Houston, but really probably all over the U.S. When it comes to getting those all-important dollars that it takes for us to be able to run and do what we're called to do as nonprofits and as ministries, certainly here at Cornerstone. But we hope this will be a resource for anybody watching to gain some access into the back room, so to speak, of fundraising. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So glad that you're here. So nonprofits, we're constantly needing to raise money. I mean,
Sure.
it's every year. It seems like the struggle. You finish a year, you're so excited that you met budget, or you're so sad that you didn't meet budget, and you don't get a chance to rest.
Right.
You have to turn it back on, and hit the road again and start beating the bushes for money. And certainly, I always get the sense that people are like, oh no, here comes Andy. He's asking for more money.
Right.
How do nonprofits, from your viewpoint, how do we stay relevant to a donor? How do we stay in front of them in a positive way that's not too pushy, but also says, hey, buy into this?
Well, you're absolutely right about the, oh no, here comes Andy, because I feel the same way about, oh my gosh, here comes Elizabeth, which is why you and I should be expert fundraisers, but also train our board and our volunteers and those who we're serving and who are really kind of, your cheerleaders, train them on how to do the asking for you. So it's not all on your back, that it's really a board member and a volunteer's responsibility. And it's their passion for the organization that is going to convince someone to get on board and to be a donor.
So Elizabeth, this is new territory. We're in a new world. It's not the same old thing of writing a letter necessarily and a response card. We still do those things, and those are important for events. But social media. I mean, I feel like I'm still young. Things tell me I'm not,
Right.
and one of those is social media. Because I'm on Facebook, but to be intentional with it, to be intentional with putting your message out in the best light, being cognizant of what you do, personally on your own Facebook, also ties back to your mission as a nonprofit. How do we leverage? How have you seen maybe some really successful models, or maybe not so successful models, of people using social media to raise funds, or in some cases maybe even hurt their potential?
Well, I think the most important thing is to know your audience and to know your potential audience. You don't want to go all the way to social media and forget those who really still, respond to snail mail and still, want a proposal, still want a phone call or a lunch meeting. So you kind of have, now it's, there's more options. It makes it even more difficult. And you need to kind of segment that audience that really wants tweets and Facebook messages, and it works. It does work, but you're going to be raising smaller amounts at a time, hopefully building a donor base to kind of graduate them to a next level later on. But it's important to do. You just need to know. You can't forget those who are still doing it the old-fashioned way.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that. I agree. Some of our larger donors are people that would prefer the old-fashioned way, whereas we're trying to grow a larger base of maybe smaller monthly ongoing donors that help undergird maybe those troughs in giving that you get from time to time.
And they'll be your future, so it's
absolutely,
important. And
absolutely.
that's how the younger generation is getting their news and their messages and responding to emergencies. And social media is a great, if you have some kind of an emergency, or if there is something that you need to reply, really soon, social media is great. And short campaigns, it works really well. Longer term, kind of larger projects, I think you want to look at your major donors for that.
everybody who works or volunteers at a particular organization, whether it's Cornerstone or any one of these other worthy nonprofits in our area or wherever you're at, you know, they have a heart level connection to it. They have a heart level connection to the mission. And really, they become the cheerleaders for what we're doing. So I guess if when it comes right down to it, the staff's job of an organization, and you know, I guess at the top, the executive director or development director or whoever is there, maybe their job looks a little less like filling out the grant paperwork or planning the next big gala, and it looks more like training and pouring yourself into the next generation of people, or even the wider base of people that already work within your organization, to go out and again open up your network. There's no reason in the world why you shouldn't call your friends and say, hey, I'm bought in with this because it means something for me. Come and check it out. Right. I mean, don't have your first thing you say be like, hey,
I'm going to ask you for money now. Yeah. I mean, that's what people usually do. They usually call and say, okay, I really hate doing this, but I'm going to have to,
pulling teeth.
Yeah. And so, but instead, it's like, gosh, have I told you about what's going on with me and Cornerstone? Have I told you how this has touched me? And then, really? Well, let me, and you either, hey, I can't volunteer right now. Is there something I can help you with? What do y'all need? Or, let me go check it out.
Yeah. So, that's huge. And, people in general, once they can see it, and I tell people that all the time in context of Cornerstone, mainly for volunteering, and volunteers always make the best donors because they're bought in. But I can sit here and tell you all day long about the programs that we do, but when it comes right down to it, it's about the relationships that are built while we're there. And so you need to come in and see what happens on a Monday night, on a Tuesday night, and see how these kids are connecting with these adults.
Right.
And when you see that, your heart's going to be drawn to it, or your heart's not going to be drawn to it. It doesn't make you a bad person if it's not drawn to it. It just means there's something else out there for you.
Right.
And we encourage that with everybody, that you need to find what your sphere of influence is. And so, well, hey, thank you so much. Thank you for talking with us. And I hope that this becomes a resource for people all over. So we're just so excited. Thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being part of the conversation today. Again, I'm Andy, and this is Elizabeth Proctor, and we are so thankful to them for working with us. And we hope this is a resource for you. If you have any questions, feel free to email us and let us know. Maybe you'll be the next part of the conversation. Until next time, bye-bye.